Welcome back to Lifestyle Nutrition with Brian Diamond, and today we are going to learn about protein. Why it's the most valuable macronutrient. It's worth more than gold. Why? What are its benefits? How much of protein you should be consuming in a day? And also, what happens if you don't consume protein? All of this coming up. Proteins are the main building blocks of
your
body. Proteins are used to make muscles, tendons, organs, skin, enzymes, hormones, and neurotransmitters. I learned that today. I didn't know that they were used in making neurotransmitters. I thought protein was only food. That's it. That's all I thought. Man, there's a lot to learn. I'm going to learn more. I'm really interested to learn more now. Protein is made up of smaller molecules called
amino acids,
and amino acids are the building blocks of protein. However, amino acids, again, that's a different topic, that's a different question, that's a different video for another day. So today we're just going to talk about protein. Let's start with the benefits of protein. So the benefits of protein, let's just start with the biggest benefit that most of you have subscribed to my channel for, which is
weight loss
and sustainable weight loss at that. Now, what happens when you consume protein? When you consume protein, your body burns more calories to process that protein, and that is called thermic effect of food. And even though TEF is about 10 to 15% maximum of your TDEE, protein contributes to about 25% of your TEF, thermic effect of food. So that's one part. The next thing is what happens when you consume protein. When you consume protein, you feel fuller longer, and when you feel full, you don't feel hungry, you don't feel like eating, you don't feel like
snacking,
you don't feel like munching on things, you don't feel any of those things. And why does that happen? Because when you consume protein, your leptin levels go up, and leptin is your satiety hormone. I'll make a separate video about leptin. How much protein do you need to consume? You need to consume a minimum of 0.8 grams per kilogram of your body weight if you are a sedentary person who is not active physically, who's just sitting, who's just working with their laptop. So just to preserve all the muscle mass, you need 0.8 grams minimum. That's very minimal and doesn't help weight loss as well. However, if you really want to promote weight loss in terms of TEF, if you're building muscle or something like that, or if you're very physically active, for example, I just started playing basketball. It's been about a week. For these kind of activities and these kind of things that you do, you need a minimum of 25 to 30% of protein, and that will really help you. So there's been a study, a 12-week study, where they fed a number of men about 25% of their daily caloric intake only protein. So if their daily caloric intake was 2000 calories, they were fed 500 calories that came from protein. And these men reported feelings of fullness, more feelings of fullness, and
reduced
late night food cravings by about 50%, and reduced obsessive thoughts about food by about 60%. So that's one of the studies. Another study involving women, when they were fed 30% of their daily caloric intake from protein, they reported that they consumed 441 calories
less
on a daily basis, and over the 12-week period, they lost 5 kilograms doing nothing, just consuming protein. Wow, isn't that amazing? Just eat protein, just drink protein, and that's all you need. You don't need anything else. You lose weight just sitting there and relaxing like that. Just eat what protein, that's it. If you're getting 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram per day, then you might think that you're off the hook, but not really. You are not, because you may not be getting quality protein. Quantity is fine, but quality is more important than quantity. There is something called essential amino acids. There are 9 of them. I won't go into detail. I'll make a separate video about amino acids and essential amino acids. Your body does not produce these essential amino acids, and you have to obtain it from your nutrition. If you get all of these essential amino acids, those are called complete protein sources. Usually complete protein sources come come from animal products, poultry, meat, fish, dairy, eggs, so many things. However, if you are a vegetarian like most Indians are, because I live in India and let's say 90% of the people I've spoken to at least are vegetarians. So if you're a vegetarian, don't worry, you can get complete proteins. However, it involves more work and more effort to get complete protein sources. Otherwise, you can just supplement, but I wouldn't recommend supplementing when you can actually consume whole foods. Don't go for supplements when you can consume whole foods. If you absolutely cannot consume whole foods, then go for supplements. So, what I mean by protein, complete protein sources is most plant sources of protein do not contain all 9 essential amino acids. For that reason, you will have to do complementary sources of protein. So, you got to get rice and beans or something like that. You got to do some different types of combos. There are so many different types of combos that you can try. One of the complete plant protein sources I know of is soya. If you eat a lot of soya, that is a complete protein source. So you don't have to worry about it. If you subscribe to this channel, what you can expect is weekly videos on nutrition, weight loss, tips and tricks on how to attain sustainable weight loss and how to maintain that weight loss once you achieve your goal. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe. What happens if you do not consume protein, or if you don't consume enough protein, or if you don't meet the required 0.8 grams per kilogram per day? If you don't do that, what happens is you risk getting osteoporosis, which is brittle bones, or sarcopenia. And sarcopenia is muscle loss due to aging. And osteoporosis also happens among elderly individuals, people above 50 and 60. If they don't consume enough protein, there is a risk of getting osteoporosis, and you don't want that. So here's a bonus tip that I'm giving you. Do not listen to people around you who don't know about this stuff. Do not listen to them when they say,
Hey, protein is bad for you.
protein is bad for you. Oh, I stopped eating protein because if I eat protein, I put on weight. Do not listen to these people, because it's so dangerous that it spreads so fast and everyone says don't eat, don't eat, don't eat. Oh, I stopped eating protein, I stopped eating protein, I stopped eating protein. That's bad. Don't do that. Just eat your protein or drink your protein if that's what you prefer, and you'll be healthy, you'll lose weight, you'll live longer, you'll live a healthy and a fit life. That's what you want. I'm pretty sure about it. For coaching inquiries, you can call me on my cell phone, you can send me a text or WhatsApp, or you can send me an email if that's what you prefer, and we'll take it ahead from there. And I'll also put these details down in the description below, so be sure to check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next one.